Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Dan, what are you doing in Los Angeles?
Well, the same thing you're doing, actually. We were just sitting in a room about 10 minutes ago watching Microsoft talk about their video games.
That's pretty exciting, was it not? What did you think?
I was pretty happy that they were talking about video games.
Yeah?
That is certainly what they were focusing on.
Yeah, if you didn't know any better, you wouldn't really know that Kinect was A, a thing, and also B, a thing that comes boxed with the Xbox One.
Yeah, even I guess the one thing that really, featured it was Rise. And I mean, that looks heavier on QuickTime events than actual, Kinect shielding
Yeah,
stuff
at no
or
point did
whatever.
they mention that, which is funny because remember when they announced it a couple of years ago, it was like, this is a Kinect game for the hardcore.
Yeah, for the core gamer, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they had some voice command stuff and a little bit of smart glass stuff or whatever, but I'm not anti-smart glass by any means. I think that's actually could be a very cool thing if done correctly. So yeah, I mean, they showed a lot of games. They started with Metal Gear Solid 5, which is probably the one game I'm most excited about out of that whole lineup there.
That was a super weird demo or
Trailer
thing, wasn't it?
That's what I love about it, though.
Yeah.
It's always just super weird and Japanese and awesome, and it was great.
It's like a Western, and then he gets off the horse and suddenly he's on a Jeep. And
Yeah, carrying dudes and shooting dudes,
Yeah, why
and
not?
the weird music going on.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So that looks super awesome. I also really thought Titanfall looked great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it definitely, you can see the Call of Duty there, and just kind of the way characters move and everything. But as far as just the mobility stuff, I've always liked games where you can jetpack around and stuff.
Absolutely.
Shoot while you're jetpacking, shooting out of a mech thing and everything. That looks pretty damn cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm very much looking forward to that. It sounds like we're on the same page.
Yeah.
You also seemed really happy when Dead Rising 3 was being shown off.
Yeah, definitely.
When all those artillery things were coming down and blowing up.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts about it. If you remember Mercenaries World in Flames?
Yes, it was incredible.
Calling in
carpet bombings and stuff, and seeing whole buildings come down.
So I love that part of that game,
Yep.
and then also I'm a huge Dead Rising fan,
Yep.
so I'm curious to kind of see where, past games have been kind of a little on the silly side.
Yeah.
This is obviously, I think they just wanted to demonstrate the game itself. We don't really know much about the story aside from gas station attendant named Nick. And it looks like this one puts more of an emphasis on a larger open world as opposed to like a shopping center or a casino section of town.
And we didn't see as much bowling balls or arm cannons or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going for a grittier tone or something with it, but it looked cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the driving stuff looked really cool. And I mean, graphically it looked awesome. Calling in big attacks, shooting the flare off was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
I liked Dead Rising 1. I didn't like 2 as much really, but this one I'm pretty much on board for.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else. So there's Project Spark, which...
That was one of those games that when it was over, I felt like I knew, the more they talked about it, the less I understood completely what exactly it was. It was okay, it's kind of this world building game. You can kind of set your own AI and make your own little games. And then they showed that trailer at the end, and it was just here's a shooter, and here's all this other stuff.
Little Big Planet or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, I thought I understood it, like you, when they were just showing okay, you're building a hill and you're throwing fire and stuff, kind of this fantasy RPG type setting with world building, smart glass elements.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it's just and then it's everything else too.
Didn't Microsoft had that Kudo Game Labs thing years and years ago? It was just kind of a weird little download where you could make your own simple games. So it seems like it's something that Microsoft has been dinking around with for a while.
Okay.
But it seems when they first started, it was make it for us. It was all this crap built up, and you're
day, night, woodland, desert. Yeah.
Explain what you're doing.
So I'm a fighting game guy, but I never was a big Killer Instinct guy.
Killer Instinct, I think, in my opinion, was always an advertisement for the then upcoming Nintendo 64. You remember, it was something that was always this is the game that Midway's coming out with that uses the hardware for the Ultra 64, as it was called then.
Right.
But it never felt like it was a game. It just felt gimmicky and kind of, I thought it was pretty lame.
Yeah, gameplay-wise, I just don't know. Back then, I was Street Fighter's out, Mortal Kombat's out. Why would you, I don't know. It wasn't terrible, but I never really got into it.
No.
So, I know, some people were very, very excited about it. I saw on Twitter, anytime you see a known franchise, there's a nostalgia factor of people getting excited.
Yeah.
I've seen that before.
I will say it is kind of exciting to see the in-game graphics look far superior to the cutscenes that were running off a hard drive on arcade machines back in the 90s. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's a nice theoretical thought experiment.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to play it necessarily.
Yeah. I mean, I'll check it out, but I'm not super excited for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting that they seem to take, probably not a cue from Sony, since they're probably both planning this for a while, but the sharing stuff, the streaming stuff, that partnership with Twitch. There's certainly an audience for it. I don't personally like watching people play games.
Yeah.
I like to play them myself. So I don't know, it's not for me, but I mean, there certainly is an audience out there. Twitch is becoming a huge deal. I mean, probably already is a huge deal.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. people seem excited about that, I guess. So
Yeah.
good for them.
Well, you remember too, there like another part. This has nothing to do with what you were saying, so I'm just going to completely forego that. But there's the sequence where the cloaked figure, what is this, some kind of Journey knockoff, and then lo
Right.
and behold, it's a Master Chief.
Well, he doesn't want to get sunburnt in the desert through his like space armor.
No,
so he has to wear
absolutely.
That shawl.
Yeah, you know that paint degrades under direct
Yeah,
sunlight.
yeah.
so.
It's a nice suit. I mean,
Yeah, and then he's like holding a pocket watch or whatever he's doing. I don't know.
And so I have no idea what the hell's going on in that fiction. I played every one of those games beginning to end. There's a blue lady that comes out of a computer.
Yeah.
And then a big thing in the desert blew up. I don't know. Like,
It was quite large.
I think that's the thing about Halo is the people that are really into that fiction and everything. I guarantee you right now on message boards, everyone's just going nuts about like, oh, I bet that was the Forerunner blah 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 ship, and oh god, and the shawl must be blah. And like, I just saw a guy in a suit look at a thing happen in the desert, and then it said Halo.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anything about that game. I mean, I'll play it. I like playing Halo. But
You're just trying to pick out what parts are going to glow orange on
Yes.
that giant wing thing so you can blow it apart.
yeah.
Fair enough.
So I mean, cool that there's another Halo. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not a surprise, and we don't really know anything about it. But
What did you think of Battlefield 4 demo? Because I know that like the last time they showed it, they took a lot of heat because they showed the single player stuff, which
Right.
apparently everyone just hates. They just want to see multiplayer. So again, they did that. There was that awful, excruciating moment. If you have any degree of empathy as a human being, you died a little bit as there were all those technical difficulties.
Oh god,
Which
yeah, when the sound.
that doesn't speak to anything overall as a press conference. But anytime something like that happens, I just like, oh,
It's got to be
it's hard to
nerve-wracking
watch.
anyway to get up in front of a thing like that.
But they finally
isn't
got it working, and it game looks great.
Yeah,
a lot
I mean,
of guys. And,
visually, Jesus, like when that jet crashed into the carrier and it like slid down, like that
Yeah.
looked really good. Everything was running so smooth. I mean, that looks cool. I mean, there's obviously a big market for shooters, and
Yep.
that looks as good as any shooter I've ever seen. So
probably the biggest thing, which I was surprised that they talked about, release window, November, which,
Right.
well, duh.
Yeah.
But also price. They give a price, $4.99. What do you think of that?
I need to know what's coming out on launch day. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't have $500 to throw out on something if it doesn't have a game that I really want to play.
Yeah.
So, which I say that now, but every single console release for the last, since I've been in high school, I've gotten on day one.
Right.
So I say this now, but I'll totally buy it on day one. But right now, as a sane person, I would want some huge thing. Like if Titanfall was a launch game,
Yeah.
I'd be like, sweet, yeah, I can see myself getting that for that game. But it's not out till spring, so like, I can see myself holding out,
Yeah.
trying to buy one on Craigslist or something in the spring or something,
Right.
get a discount or something. It's just $500 is a lot of money. So
Well, in the meantime, as an Xbox Gold member,
I am. Yeah.
you get free games, including Halo 2.
The-
Was it Halo 3? I'm
yeah.
sorry.
We're moving up to like 2007.
Yeah, Halo 3.
And Fable.
Fable 3.
Yeah. Okay. I played them both years
There you
ago,
go.
so cool.
Ta-da.
Yeah, God, just that price. I was kind of bummed out. I actually misheard it. It was really loud in the room we were at. I thought they said $299. And for a
Yeah.
second, I was like, all right, yeah, like I'm
Yep.
there. I'll put down my pre-order right now.
Yeah.
And then somebody corrected me and said $499.
Then you were
Yeah.
rewind, clap.
Yeah. So I don't know. What about you? I mean, do you think you'll get one on day one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're idiots. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll do it.
Dude, I suspect that if like Ubisoft came out with a stupid console, I'd buy that. Does you know what I mean? Like
We both bought Ouya's.
we both bought Ouya's. Yeah, we're probably not the best people to talk to when it comes to recommending whether or not you should buy new hardware. Go for it. Do it.
Yeah.
There's going to be games on it eventually. But
Yeah.
overall, what do you think compared to the last press conference? Which, to be clear, that was designed to be different.
Consumer.
And I think,
Yeah, like standard consumer.
yeah. They didn't talk about TV or sports.
No, they were fine. Like I commend them for the way they did their press conference.
Yeah.
This was clearly, hey, this is E3. This
Yep.
is a show for gamers. We are talking about damn video games.
Exactly.
That good on them for that.
Yep.
Games were kind of up and down. I mean, nothing that makes me want to buy the system right away, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a train wreck by any means. And plus, some of the stuff I'm most excited about, Metal Gear, that's not just going to be on Xbox. So,
Right.
but then like I think Titanfall as an exclusive that's a big deal. That looked really cool.
Yeah.
So
now we get to see if Sony's going to counter with their press conference with a price.
I'm very
the
excited.
console, yeah.
Tonight's going to be very, very interesting, I
Yeah.
think. So
It's E3.
and maybe they'll say some things about used game sales and things like
Why
that.
would they do that?
Only
They
if it's
just
good news.
keep their damn mouths
If
shut.
they're silent, it means they're doing the same damn thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. Tonight's going to be interesting. It's going to be a really interesting show overall. So this is just, day one.
Yep.
So it'll be fun.
Excellent.